Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Mitch, and we've just done a load of mic checks, and we are good to go. And on this episode of the UK Surf Show, we have a returning guest, another returning guest actually, because I think we had a few from the Northeast pre-me time, and Emily and Chris, which was pretty epic. Pete got super offensive.
Oh yeah, well, Emily's been on before, but Chris hasn't, her partner, and I mean, any surf school in, not any surf school, NE as in Northeast. It always makes me laugh when I say it, any surf school. You can go to any surf school.
Must be a play on words, Pete. Maybe they meant it.
It must be. Maybe they meant it, yeah, maybe. But yeah, really good one, really fun. Went to their new house, which they've not long moved into, because they are living as normal members of society now, not in their rascal van. As
they define it. And they had a toilet in the living room, which wasn't connected to the wall. I'm pretty sure they realised it wasn't connected when you used it.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, but the toilet was in there. They had literally just moved in. The toilet is,
and I offend people, so that's brilliant as well. Some information I could have done with before I actually offended people, but you'll hear that anyway. So we'll just get straight into it.
Okay, let's get straight into it. See you on the other side.
Yeah, cool. Right, so what we do, as we say, just normally introduce yourself, and then we'll just take it from there. So say who you are, what you do, and if I'm going like this, don't worry, I'm just adjusting levels, and if I put a phone in your face, don't worry, I'm just taking photos for myself.
That's brilliant.
That's so the intro.
Okay, you go first.
I'm Chris, and one of the co-owners of Any Surf.
I like how you pretty much told Emily that you're Chris.
He's not sure.
I think.
You also said it as a question. I'm Chris.
Chris.
I'm Chris. And I like to party.
I don't know my name or age. Can you please confirm?
So this is Chris.
Oh, it is. I am Chris.
Yeah.
I am.
He surfs and teaches surfing.
Okay. I do. That is what I do.
And I'm Emily. And I also do the same things.
Okay.
Largely, that's most of what we do.
But you don't need the confirmation of what you do. That's probably the difference here.
Yeah, no, don't make me look controlling. This is not a good start.
So we had the impression that you both lived in a Bedford rascal, and that was your life, and you teach surfing. And we come here to this 17-bedroom mansion, and then it's just all a fake, isn't it?
Automatically when we came in, there was a button and a person waiting for us.
That's the life we live now.
Skip the middle ground and just went straight at the top end.
Yeah.
Easiest way to do it. And I believe that you've been on the show before.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a long time ago now. I think it was pre-you. That was when it was good. And
that's not very nice.
It was.
It was ages ago.
Yeah, it was like early on. I think it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't know what we did. We still don't know what we're doing. But me and Leighton didn't know what we were doing there. And I think that went down quite well actually. A lot of people said they quite enjoyed your interview last time. So
when was that?
Don't ask me questions like that. You know I don't do research.
Well, I think I know when it was because it was before Any Surf.
Yeah, it was before.
We were together, but Chris was just in the cupboard during that
one. Away, not seen, not allowed to be known of.
Nah, I was teaching. I was at Chris's parents' house. I remember. I was in the spare room.
Yeah.
So
maybe tell people, the listeners, viewers, watchers, what Any Surf is.
So Any Surf is our surf school, and it does stand for Northeast Surf, not Knee Surf.
Knee surf.
There's knee surf, which
I always thought it was first of all, before I got it and saw NE Northeast, I was like Any Surf, like any surfing, so anything to do with surfing.
Yeah, well, we did not just Any Surf school, little play, but we kind of dropped that. Have we, or is that still on the Instagram?
Oh, no, it's on the side of the van. I think one of them.
Not just Any Surf school. Anyway, yeah.
We've got this one hadn't been introduced yet either as well.
This is
dog head.
Actually, we've been working on our ventriloquist recently.
Oh, right, okay.
So
let's just put my hand up here.
Hi, I'm Zena.
Zena, your dog's called Zena.
I'm a dog.
You warrior princess.
Yes,
are you?
Bosnian street dog.
Yeah. She's
is it? Is it rescue?
Yeah.
It's it. I'm calling you it. You're right there. Cutie pie.
Oh, she's so good. We chose her off the internet. It was kind of like a
doggy
swipe,
dating website.
swipe
Yeah,
through.
we sort of swipe right.
Tinder for dogs.
So not like rescued, like you ran into a burning building and saved her. Rescued. It's like
No.
you just picked her. You went, I want that one.
Yeah. I want that one. Pretty much.
That's literally
basically.
It's literally a stolen Bill Burr joke where he goes about, people say, I've got a rescue, and it's like, did you run into a burning building, or did you go down a pound and went, I want that one? But yeah, no, it's great. It's great. I love dogs.
We have to talk about the van, because there's probably not a lot of them cutting about and surfing in the UK.
Yeah.
Not that I've seen anyway. And I remember seeing it recently driving past my window in Caldy on his boat, and I have to overlay a picture of it, obviously. I've seen it drive by and like, that has to be them.
Yeah.
It's a bit different. It is, yeah. So we just sort of, it actually, the full reason we got them vans was a bit of a weird story. Is we would just, when we were running the other surf school, got a job offer to be a nanny in London for a famous actor.
We
never signed an NDA, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, well, it was for kids.
No,
or was it?
Or was it?
Or was it? There you go.
It was for I don't know. Maybe cut that.
But the full plan was we wanted something where we could go in the ULEZ, but be able to strike mission just straight to like the Welsh coast or something like that. So we bought it and then didn't get the job. So that's just where it sort of came from.
Because of the van, do you think? Was that a key
I think it was. I think they didn't want it parked on his Chelsea driveway.
Yeah, or you're taking the kids to school in the Bedford Rascal.
Yeah.
Boards and sand everywhere.
They heard we smelt bad, so they shower dodgers.
Yeah, so
they passed. I was actually teaching maths at the time, and I didn't want to finish early.
Yeah, so you were a school teacher, weren't you?
Yes.
Because actually, I think that was the first time I came across you. That's a terrible thing to say, isn't it? It was the first time I was aware of you, I think, because there was what was it, BBC? Was it BBC News? Or
it was on Channel 4.
It was on Channel 4.
It was like an advert for Get Into Teaching.
Yeah, and talk to us about that, because that was actually quite... I remember watching that, and now I don't remember much about it, because I've just got a terrible memory. But I remember it being quite motivational, and I think I sent you a message about it, just saying that's really amazing.
Yeah, I think the concept was to show that you could like have a life and be a teacher, which is definitely possible, and to kind of I guess encourage more people into teaching was the main thing.
You still teaching?
Why would you ask? We all know the answer. Teaching surfing.
Right, teaching surfing is great. Teaching maths is also great. However, for me, it just is not a viable life choice to work Monday to Friday, and summer is fine. Like when there's enough daylight hours, but in the winter, it's just the balance that I need of being in the sea is not fulfilled. And I was like, when I was teaching full time, I would literally drive down to Cornwall on a Friday night if there was no surf up here, and drive through the night and then drive back for Monday, which is fine when you're like, I don't know, it was fine. I don't want to say I'm old now, but like I just can't imagine doing that now, like, and being bothered. So anyway,
it felt too much like adulting, getting away of your fun life than your real work life. It
is a trap. Adulting is a trap, and I would recommend anyone listening to avoid it.
Yeah, I know.
As long as possible.
Trying our very best not to.
You should have
you just bought a house. There's your first trap. They've got you.
Yeah. Nah, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
And what about
I love the way they're just telling each other, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I don't want to grow up.
No. And what about for yourself, Chris? Surfing? Where did that kind of come about for you?
I tried it a little bit when I was 14 and did the good old thing of I've stood up on a foamy in whitewater. I need a 6-foot shortboard, which is about the width of a toothpick. So basically spent 4 years floundering around, not catching a single thing. And then, actually, surprisingly enough, when I moved to Leeds, that's when I decided to start surfing.
Right.
So I joined the uni club, and then basically, because I started surfing at uni, ended up dropping out of uni to just start surfing.
Yeah.
Basically, just went through and went, the best bit of uni is the surf bit, and I'm in the worst place to do surfing. So got to my final year and just decided the dissertation was too much like hard work, basically. And
that's not a metaphor for surfing.
Yeah, just
nothing is.
ran off to Morocco and was a host in Morocco.
Very, very inspirational.
And just went, don't need education, I just want to surf.
What was the degree?
Sports therapy.
Sports therapy.
So absolutely loved the degree, but it was just, I realised I didn't want to be a sports therapist.
Right, okay.
And I was sort of going through, and I'd started teaching actually at South Shields, surf school in South Shields. And just went, actually, I could just do this every day. And so basically just figured out a way to just do it every day, basically. So just then from there, went to Morocco and then started travelling, just teaching anywhere I wanted to go, really.
Yeah. And you're pretty well travelled, aren't you? I think van life was a bit of a passion or expertise, shall we say, for you, was it?
Yeah, it was just the most practical thing. I didn't know where I actually wanted to live, so I thought I'll just take a tiny little house everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think I did about 5 years on and off, just living in the van. So, but then like round Cornwall for a few years, Portugal, then did a big trip from Spain up to Norway, which that was probably the best one. Just living full time.
And what van was that? What sort of vans were that in at the time?
So when I went up to Norway, I had a big old Mercedes 410, so it was like the 1990s vans.
Yeah.
And basically didn't do a single thing to it, no oil change, just got in it and just drove it, I think 20,000 miles. Just it worked.
Yeah.
Just drove it there and back, ran out of MOT and just scrapped it.
Yeah.
And then moved on to the smaller vans.
Okay. I was going to say, because you're not like 5 foot for a Bedford Rascal.
We fit just. It's exactly
and
six.
It hangs over the back of the bed.
So it extends, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the exact. I think it's the exact size of a 3/4 double bed, with an extra foot to stand up at the end.
Nice.
But it's squeeze.
It's not big. We lived in it for a summer, like when we were working full time.
Yeah. That's a test of your relationship, isn't it, really, as well?
Fair, yeah.
That close, that much
You've not
time.
put that tiny tea bag away. There's no space in here.
You sound exactly like me.
Yeah. He's the tiny one. So
everything has its place. It's just nothing is ever in its place.
Yeah.
But no, it was definitely a tester, because when we first did the van, it was basically just a shed.
Yeah.
No insulation,
Dog kennel.
nothing.
Yeah, okay.
We were teaching probably about 6 hours a day in our suits. Then not showering, sleeping in the van, starting the day again, and
the suits were not nice smelling.
Yeah, they weren't nice, clean suits.
Peeing in the wetsuits as well?
Only peeing in wetsuits.
Disgusting.
Like never outside of a suit, I think.
It's not good for you.
Minging.
Oh, it's not.
Thank you. Someone else agrees with me.
Sorry, I just had a vision of him in my head then going, I'm going for a shit, hold on, I need to put a wetsuit on.
I've just warmed up the rascal.
No, maybe it'll stay warmer then. You never know.
Yeah.
Where do we go from that? I don't know. Well, I tell you what.
Where my mind's gone.
So you've obviously learnt a lot about van life, and you probably done it the hard way. There's loads of people out there, I think, especially post-lockdown, after he's bought a van and all that stuff, think, I could just go sell up everything, buy a van, and live in a van. And I think in people's heads, they're probably going to be in like a 2023 plate MAN TGE 4x4 Hagline sort of thing. It's not the reality. Reality, for the cost, you're going to have to buy probably a panel van that's got some miles on it. The time and effort, and it's not easy. I've converted a small van. It's not that straightforward. If you want to go a bit bigger to live in it, it's super problematic. So, is there any advice you could give either your younger self or people that are thinking about that?
A young person, he normally said.
One of them young people.
A youngin.
The main thing is that normally you want to live in a van, I think, is because you want to travel more. And the problem is everyone gets them big expensive vans, and then you can't one, you spent all your money on buying the van, and then two, you can't afford to drive it anyway. It costs so much in fuel.
Yeah.
So I think that's what drove us towards like smaller vans, was we just wanted something where we're happy to drive it anywhere.
Yeah.
So we can take it on little country lanes. Don't get me wrong, on a motorway it's pretty dreadful but I think just something good on fuel and little vans, because Emily had the same.
My first van, I had a Vauxhall Combo, just a little one. It was just, I was on my own, and that's the one I would drive like up and down to Cornwall, just blast up and down, and it didn't really cost very much. And then I got this grand idea that I wanted to live in the van full time, and I thought I wanted to be able to stand up inside the van.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
So I bought like a Ford Transit, like medium wheelbase, semi-high top, and really I didn't get that much more space, but it was huge to drive and cost so much money. And then I never ended up like driving anywhere. So I would just like, actually that's when I ended up coming and just staying in Northumberland more. Lived in that one in a car park for a while, but it was manky. It wasn't like, it didn't give me much. It's just, I think you have to spend a load of money or a load of time to get something that actually feels, like proper. When you're, did you used to play The Sims?
I did, yeah.
When they
and
have
lemmings.
Deg.
What's that? What does that mean?
I don't know. It's what they say. Deg. Ah, what's a bad? Deg.
You know how like they have things like different criteria, and like if they're hungry they walk around, they go and then if it's messy and it's not like feng shui vibes, they walk around and there's like just like thought bubbles going like that's kind of what it can be like living in it.
I think I had the same thing in my van though, because I got my van and it's like for work, and I was like, right, it's got to be functional for work. And I started doing it. I was like, I'm going to put a sink down the side and put some storage area and do this. My mate went, why? And I was like, well, so I can like stay in it. He's like, make a bed, insulate it, and use it for work the rest of the time. Use it as a glorified tent. And I was like, it works brilliant for me.
I think there's another thing that's probably not spoken about with camper vans and conversions is that, and I'm terrible for this, and I already knew this when I converted this one, that's probably more of a show van, right? But so I won't cook in it. So I've never even plumbed in the gas because it's too pristine inside for all my leather and my Mitchell tartan on the seats to stink of bacon.
The whole week of him, just every time I move something, he's like that. You're making a mess. Your fucking admin's everywhere.
I'm not being funny. We were driving here this morning and I looked over and Pete got his finger right up his nose and I'm watching him and then I saw the window go down. He's there trying to flick it off and I was like, I don't know if it went off, and I saw him throw something in the back. I swear he's wiped it on the seat. So he thinks I'm moaning about
but
my
you say
admin,
that,
like,
you were driving along yesterday just sneezing and everything everywhere. It's like, well, it's my van, it's alright. It's like,
but it's my van.
taking stuff out your face, throwing it on the floor. It's like, yeah, it's my van. It's
so I would say get
just
one
throw
that's
it in
either
the
already
back.
converted or don't convert something to be a show. If you want to use it, don't make it pristine and go all out.
Tools, not jewels. You want the cheapest car. Well, we had a Fiat Seicento, the smallest car you could possibly get. And then we just took the seats out, reclined the backs, and then went on a trip in it.
Wop.
We weren't happy in it, were we?
I think the more ratchet, the better, though. Like, Chris always like designs these things where the bed can go away, and if I had it my way, the bed would just stay out.
That's what I
throw
want in a van.
shit everywhere.
I want to be able to have the space to get changed when the bed's down and not have to put the bed away.
See, that's what he said to me. He looked in the back of mine and he was like, that's what I want, the bed to just stay down. I was like, the bed doesn't stay down, it folds away. He's like, what?
It's the only thing in Abdul's van that I wanted though.
Yeah.
But then if you want to get changed in the van, you need a huge one if you want the bed to be down. I think just get changed outside.
Nah, I think when I had a long wheelbase transporter, when the bed was down, there was still enough space to comfortably get changed.
Yeah.
Toyota Hi-Ace, that's what you want.
That's
long wheelbase.
Had one.
That's
yeah.
Got it was too big.
Was it too?
Yeah,
it was too big. So I can fit my 9.6 board laid down on the floor in the back under the bed.
Too big.
Yeah. What? 9.6? Too big?
Oh, if the longboard's not resting on the dash, it's
annoying.
too long. You got to. If the longboard has to fit, but resting on the dashboard, that's the right size.
Yeah, see, next year going to be like that. Any surf in a metro, like.
So your boards form part of the subframe, is that kind of? There's just wheels on a board.
Chris likes just stacking like 8 boards on. We drove to Morocco in a Dacia Logan estate and lived in that for 2-3 months.
Yeah, it was 3 months in that one.
Yeah.
Do you think you guys have got a claim that you might be the smallest portable surf school on the planet? As in,
maybe.
You've got the world's smallest van. You couldn't get a smaller van. Like
possibly.
And for all the boards strapped all around it, like you got boards stuffed in the wheel arches and up the exhaust and they're everywhere.
Have you seen the surf school one? Because that's just the camper van. The surf school one's wild.
Have you got a shower in that as well on the surf school one?
No, not yet.
Not yet. It's that's something I want
It
to
does
get
have
in.
a water tank.
Because
though.
that thing's impressive. Like, it's like Krusty's car. You're like, where are all these bolts coming from? How
How
are these
many
people
boards
coming
does
out
it
of
hold?
I think it's 16.
Was it 18?
Oh, I know, yeah, I got no 2 more now. Yeah, so it's 18 boards, and I think it's, 70 wetsuits?
Yeah, on
I
the
think.
back of
The
like
only thing
a...
is the van's 20 metres high.
Yeah. Oh, it's not. That was the reason that for the second van we got, one of the Suzuki's, was we had to fit under height restrictions.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were like,
right,
we need
okay.
the smallest van possible to
of
get
course.
under.
And funny you say that. I won't mention the spot, even though it's a public spot. But the beach that we would be at around here is the main reason why I'm reluctant to get a high top, to get a van, because I'm like, I want to. You go to the beach, I want to sleep. If I'm sleeping, I want to be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I sleep at Pease Bay, for example, the car park's right there. It's like a 30-second walk to the beach. But I can't just open the curtain. And even though if it's amazing, I'm just going to go back to sleep because I love the morning. I'm so good at sleeping. But I still want to have that choice. Do you know what I mean? If I can't go to the beach, I live at the beach. It's sort of like, is it the same? I don't know if it is.
And there's something about if it's just too nice, it's too much like you're just trying to make it a house. I don't know. There's something a bit like skip ratty about it, and I feel like you should embrace the skip.
I feel like I'm back on exercise. Like it's just living life hard. Yeah,
just camping, isn't it? But like, but you can do it longer term. But I think if you try and make it something it's not, then it's a bit like
you say that. But is it? I think a diesel heater's luxurious.
Oh
right?
yeah.
But there is nothing more smug than tick. And then hearing it like dripping a bit of fuel in here and there, while everyone else is freezing their bollocks off in the car park. It's such a smug feeling.
That side of it, yeah. And in the van side of it, though, it was like it's bloody freezing up here. But once I'm in my van, it's insulated. We've got bloody nice warm quilt and everything, and I was like, it's all right.
Oh yeah, of course.
As soon as I get outside, I'm like.
But you're in your dry robe and that.
I
I have
hear
to
him,
open my windows.
see him sat there like
hot.
he's in like on holiday somewhere, and it's like.
Shorts
And he's like, I wear shorts, because you spend your whole time in your van with your diesel heater on. He's like, comes outside, his legs have gone purple already. It's like, I'll be all right once I get back in my van. Yeah, because you've got the diesel heater on 500 degrees in there. It's like bloody Spain in the back of his van.
Down south, it's much warmer down south. Everyone knows that.
It is. It is cold up here. It's just turned into a van show now, I think.
Well, do you know what? While we're talking about vans, you've had a bit of a recent trauma with the van. Is that right?
What happened? Which one? Which trauma?
Well, specifically with the surf school, I guess.
Yeah, it's just waiting for parts. And for the van, or was it the stolen boards?
That was where I was going. But I mean, all vans have problems.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I don't really
in the
know
garage at the
we
moment.
don't need to know its MOT history and where the service is at. Like, but
it's not there.
I thought trauma. I was thinking crashes and
Why does that happen a lot? Does it?
No, well, it depends who's driving.
Does it?
Who's the crasher and who's the?
Well, I don't technically crash.
All right, so we
optics just come at me while I'm moving.
Emily has a talent of crashing cars. Emily managed to crash a car without being in the car.
That's impressive.
Yeah, she managed to. She was charging her phone after a surf, and I think she was just about to message someone. So just went to quickly start the car, and it had to stay in gear because the handbrake was a little dicky. And the car
when he says
started.
the handbrake, when he says the handbrake was a little dicky, he told me that doing handbrake turns was good for the car, and did it, and the handbrake cable snapped, and he didn't fix it. Anyway, that's why the handbrake was a little dicky.
I think handbrake turns are only good for getting chicks when you're 18. That's the only reason.
They're good for everything.
How do you do that in a modern electric handbrake car? That's a bit. Teenagers have lost something there, I feel.
Yeah.
I did a
never modern.
I remember doing a handbrake turn. I must have been around 20 or something like that. And we went over this field, and my mate come over in his car, and I'd literally no license or anything, just got in his car and just decided to drive around the field. I drove it towards him, handbrake turned, and it went up on 2 wheels, and it jumped like that. And I remember going sideways, thinking, shit, and it just like stopped right next to him. I was like, that was stupid, cool. Wasn't it?
So you're the crasher.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're the person driving about wondering why everyone else on the motorway is driving the wrong way. Why is everyone else going the wrong bloody way?
Yep.
No,
that happened.
I've only had one proper crash, but anyway, the other one I did crash when I wasn't in it because it bump started itself and then shot forward like a meter and then went into a post. So that was
That was an interesting phone call to receive.
Yeah. So when you said trauma, like that
stole itself The car stole itself.
Yeah.
Remember when you didn't fix the handbrake? Yeah, well, this is what's happened.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Yeah, it's always my fault.
So, yeah, but you had a load of boards robbed and everything, didn't you?
Yeah, so that was when we just sort of started out. So had a early morning lesson, and it was actually before we'd got the vans, so it was just on the roof of the car. So just went down for an early morning lesson, and then had 3 boards left on the roof, and just light fingers managed to unclip the straps and just take them.
In such a quiet spot though as well, early in the morning. It's such a like you just wouldn't expect it, would you?
No, it's.
I feel like we should maybe not publicise that we could be robbed.
We just take the whole van. You wake up in France.
This was before we had the vans and the surf school van to lock everything. That was sort of what spurred us on.
But now obviously you've
specific
got all
van.
the security fitted, you've got machine gun mounts and the
Yeah,
guard
yeah,
dogs.
yeah.
So actually,
Got the
impenetrable-
aggressive guard dog as well.
she's-
called Xena.
Yeah, so
Not this fucking
no one
Xena.
will come near this van.
She does sound pretty aggro. Then you see her stand up and you're like, oh, she's tiny.
Don't tell them that. It's
So,
just really scary.
You guys had a wee recent trip up my way to Calicody. That was
Oh,
a
yeah.
fun session. And what did we find? We found a carrot, didn't we?
We found a
Found
carrot.
a carrot. That was exciting.
Oh, what did that guy shout as well? Do you remember there was someone running? Like a guy was running. And he shouted something and we were gutted that we weren't filming. Can
No,
you
I
not
don't
remember that?
No.
Oh, he was asking us if we're going in the water or something, and then it was like,
It was just a
are you going in the
mental
water? And we're like, yeah,
fight
he's like,
for-
well, I.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a mental Kirkcaldy Onion just gone by going, give me 6.
Yeah.
Like, just psycho. But I'm sure he was super supportive. I mean, yeah. It's like,
What was the place you said earlier? You said there's a place in Scotland where it's like used to be England or used to be Scotland. or
Berwick
whatever.
upon Tweed.
Yeah, and he said like they got a mixture of like English and Scottish. So I was like, they're like, okay, okay, how you?
Great day.
Yeah.
Nice one. Let's
Yeah,
move on.
brilliant.
Nice one, Pete. Well, thanks for tuning in. Back to the studio. It was funnier in the van. I'll give you that.
Oh well.
It was funnier.
No, I was just thinking because like
Did
when
you plan that joke?
no, well, if you can't sleep later, I'll tell you it again. You can just fall asleep. It was no, it's just I was just thinking
Don't
like
try and explain it.
I'm not trying to explain the joke. Don't. I'm going home. Bye. I want to go back. No, it's like when we were up by you. It's just reminding me of people shouting things. There's just full of people shouting things where you live. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it
move
does
on.
happen.
Just
So
move on.
what were you guys doing up my way? According to surf etiquette, you didn't get a ticket to surf my spot.
Yes, we did. You
I
definitely
did.
allowed us.
When I
Thank
saw the Bedford Rascal, I was like, how can I say no?
Yeah, no, we decided this winter to stick around England, Scotland.
Oh.
Sorry, the UK.
The local
Up to
area.
either, okay. Yeah, what when I don't know.
Yeah. See. Yeah. But did he invite you in and let you use his facilities and everything like that, or was he just rude as
I did
anything?
invite you in.
Did you? Yes, you did.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
invited us
thank
in for coffee.
But
or
you had
tea.
like 300 strong camera crew with you.
Yes, one guy on a camera.
And then you had 2 other people with
Oh
you. in a
yeah,
van.
yeah. They were.
They were van wetsuit drivers.
Yes.
Yes,
I remember.
Driving like an hour and a half in a wetsuit.
They were.
That's
probably
why they
the
didn't get invited
yeasiest siblings.
Well, they didn't need the toilet.
Yeah, they are. There's not that many like locals here. Like locals. That's a stupid thing to say. Obviously, people live here, but there's not a huge amount of like local surfers who live here.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of count them on 2 hands, really. And there's Juliet and Ed are a brother and sister combo who make up a huge part of the surf community.
Almost
here.
half of it.
Oh yeah, and we went on a trip together.
They just throff super hard on the surf.
Yeah.
And they're just the people. They'll always be in the car park if there's surf. They're always there.
Because I actually remember that first day when we all surfed, it was pretty big, and that spot is super heavy.
Yeah.
And what was the name of Juliet? Did you
Juliet,
say?
yeah, yeah.
Juliet was out on a foamy.
Yeah.
Made it because it was like I don't know, it was like 17 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine out back, and then these monster sets came, and I'm like, I'm gonna paddle out. I'm gonna paddle outside of this, get away from it.
Yeah.
And I turn around, and she's like, yeah, took off on this monster, made it all the way inside. I was like, fair play.
She always gets the best waves.
Totally got the best wave.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Always.
got the best wave.
Yeah.
And you guys were up doing a bit of filming, if I remember right.
Yeah, that was for Gull. We were
Yeah.
filming some stuff for their winter wetsuits. The new
Their
suits
winter
for them.
wetsuits have the best names. So we've done quite a bit with Jack recently at Lost Shore.
Yeah.
And Jack, they listen actually, so big up to the guys in the
Whoop,
team
whoop.
at Gull in the office. But other their wetsuit names that just remind me of gladiators. They're all like Scorpio,
Viper.
Viper. Get ready! Like they're such cool names. But yeah, so
Xena!
Xena!
That should be their next
That's
one.
the
The
next one.
7 mil.
Yeah, 17 mil.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
So so you were filming for their wetsuits.
Yes, their winter
Kirkcaldy seemed to be
wetsuits.
the obvious place to go.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess. Why wouldn't you go there? That's where you go to test all. It's like the Nuremberg ring for for wetsuits and boards.
You did pick it up to us.
And you scored as well.
Calicoddy, yeah.
And to be fair, actually, I think when we went to the other spot, which we won't speak about, the one a bit further north,
Yes.
I think usually the only guys that actually scored because we all got smoked. And then you guys, I think we got out as you were getting
Just
in,
as
as
we
I
got
remember.
in.
I think I caught one decent wave and I was buzzing with it. And then you guys came out and pretty much just showed us how it's supposed to be done, which was
It was all the
devastating.
tide.
The tide, yeah.
Oh, it was the
tide.
But yeah, we got some good footage from that, and I think the footage came out really nice as well.
Oh, yeah. It was good. I saw, actually, as well, we spotted Ed.
Oh, yeah.
On the Lost Shore video. I think you must have been flying the drone.
Yes,
And
that's
we saw like some little steezy grab
Oh,
rail
good.
thing and we were like,
It's Ed.
it's Ed.
It must be Ed.
What do you mean? That was in Lost Shore facility, which isn't yet built. That wasn't in the ocean. But I was like, I've been dying to use that footage for something because it's such good footage. It looks super dramatic with the clouds in the sky.
Yeah, it's
In
really
fact,
cool.
that was for the Gull thing. That was for our wetsuit test, and I don't know if you saw that. Thrive to Surf 5. If you came across it, I'm going to say
I haven't
no,
seen
but
it.
you saw that. But shocking support from this side of the
The
house.
thing is,
haven't got Wi-Fi.
he's so proud. He's so proud of that and the name and everything that was clearly stolen, as you say, from Formula One, borrowed.
Thrive to Surf.
Everyone
5.
you've told about it, no one watches Formula One. They're just like it's just lost on everyone. It's
Yeah.
like, oh right,
Yeah, I
okay,
don't get it.
But it just sounds good, so it makes it sound like my own.
yeah. Well,
No, but that
now I've
footage
ruined that.
we've done to come up with a rental fleet of wetsuits.
Yes.
So you
I
know.
remember
Now
you
you're
telling me.
pretending you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
No, we came up with our own objective idea of what we wanted and then created our own tests. We've got a collaboration with Edinburgh Napier Uni called Surf Lab. With this mad scientist, Brendan Ferrier, or One, as I like to call him. I won't tell you why. So we came up with our own objective data, and we went through all the wetsuit providers for rental suits. We're talking what we thought would work for us. What will be, if you think in a wave garden facility, the extremes are more extreme than anywhere else. So in the winter, the water's not as warm as it would be in the sea, and in the summer, it's warmer. So it's actually the most extreme test for kit and equipment.
Yeah.
So we'd 9 brands we started off with, and actually subject to most people, you say to anyone with a surf school, what wetsuits do you use? Oh, we use this. Why? Because that's what they use. And maybe there's a bit of that, maybe there's a bit of stereotypical sort of thought in it, I don't know. So we thought we'll just test it scientifically, and we ended up taking 5 to testing with the Surf Lab. The other 4 hadn't got through our criteria. We tested them in ice, 30 minutes each wetsuit in 1 degree water, with like little thermostats and sensors and everything. In the Gull wetsuit, not only by a long way outperformed everything, so Gull won the process. They then went away after they won the process, the tender, and said, "Do you know what? We can make this wetsuit better." And they made it better rather than just go, that'll do. They went away and made it better, which I think is an amazing thing. And that was kind of one of our criteria. We wanted a brand that would work with us to create something to keep customers warm. And I think that's amazing. And then by chance, the suit was Ulex.
Oh,
you know, so
amazing.
we become the first surf school on the planet to use Ulex as a rental fleet. And I think that's pretty impressive. So hopefully we can break that barrier.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, you just think, well, Ulex, I've not tried it. Wetsuits are expensive. Maybe I'll just stick to what I know. And when 80% carbon footprint reduction in Ulex compared to standard neoprene, I think that's pretty impressive.
That's really cool, because I think with wetsuits, one of the hardest things for us for getting them for the surf school is trying to get that balance. Because you want the warmest suit, so everyone's as warm as they could be, but then you need something that's durable
Yeah.
And then if you want something durable, then getting something eco-friendly as well.
Yeah.
It's to tick the 3 boxes. Well,
Yeah.
in all, we've been trying to find things, but hadn't really found anything.
When we first started, there wasn't really any like options for kind of surf school rental suits.
Yeah.
But now in the last like year or two, there's some definitely some good options to look into. But I'd be keen to try the gull ones that you guys get.
Well, they're listening now.
Yeah.
Shout out.
So send some wetsuits to any surf.
Yeah, to any surf, obviously.
Not any surf, NE surf.
Any
Yeah.
surf, yeah.
Send it to any surf school you want. What?
Yeah, someone will enjoy it.
So as a surf school, how busy are you guys?
I don't know.
I don't know. We're ticking along quite nicely. We sort of changed over like the last year or so how we sort of want to run, because when we first started, I think our main thing was what you think of a surf school, sort of on the beach, holiday lessons and stuff. But then we'd always wanted to go into more coaching in depth. So we're in the middle of a 3-weekend stint of doing like retreats and surf camps.
Yeah.
So people come and stay with us for a weekend. There's a bunkhouse just up the road, which is 15 minutes to
like 5 different beaches.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Which is really nice. So we can just sort of pick the best. They all put different directions. We can pick the best surf, and sort of that's where we've been pushing quite a lot towards.
Yeah,
that
and
kind of stuff.
This like sorry, just to big up where we live. It's weird. Like it's such a good area for surf on the northeast coast, because you've got like Bamburgh, which am I not supposed to say names?
You can say if they're on Surfline, you can
Bamburgh's
say them.
literally where we run our surf school.
But it's not that good for free surfers to want to come here.
It's mainly good for lessons. Like if you want a lesson with not just any surf school, us. Go to Bamburgh. Anyway, Bamburgh's mint. It picks up north swells, so like when you got those small kind of summer conditions, it kind of maximizes what you get. But we also, people kind of think, it goes really flat in summer. How do you manage? But we get a lot of southerly winds as well, and where we are on the coast, it also maximizes those kind of southerly, southeasterly wind swells.
Probably it's actually been quite smug. The last 2 summers, from what we've seen, we've had more surf than Cornwall.
Yeah.
Through the actual main summer, like school holiday months.
Really
I'm not
lucky.
surprised, because the last 2 summers has been absolutely shit down south.
It's kept us very smug.
I know.
Yeah. So then that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so there's the Surf's Mint, and it's like it's a really cool place for people to come on holiday. Like it's kind of well known for being a holiday destination up here. So we do those kind of weekend intensive, surf coaching.
Yeah.
But another aspect that we really wanted to kind of look into was kids surfing and something more for local people, because when I said before, there's no one lives here. That's rubbish. People live around here. You've got Alnwick, you've got Berwick, which are quite big towns, both really close to this stretch of coastline. And for all that, there is like no local surfers. Sorry, and I think that will change. We've started it's a hard area to live, or it has been cost-wise for families, because with it being a holiday destination, obviously you've got the whole like what that does to house prices and to rent. Like rent's crazy, which is why we lived in a caravan until we could afford to buy somewhere. And like even just food costs, like there's a local co-op, which is the accessible thing, and
so expensive as
where
well.
and where we lived, to go to an actual supermarket, not just a small shop, was like a half-hour drive. So there's just those costs that basically make it kind of hard for certain activities to be accessible to locals. So we wanted to address that by subsidising sessions and doing after-school clubs. Specifically for local children, and now we've got like this. I didn't even realize that many children existed around here. Okay. Now we've got like this gang of like.
Do you know why you didn't realise? Because it's so cold. They're inside, all of them all the time. That's why.
They only appear in summer when the sunlight's out for more than 5 hours.
You say it's so cold. I mean, it's cold at the minute, but Bamburgh is the was the first ever spot. In fact, I think you guys were in the surf when I done that. But it was the first spot in the UK I surfed in boardies. Must have been 2 summers ago.
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? What I have worked out about Bamburgh is you've done me a proper, because you're like, we're doing a northeast trip, and like, so we had to drive like 15 hours yesterday just to get to Scarborough. You've got the closest you can get to Scotland without actually being in Scotland still. So you've literally come like 10 minutes from your house, and you've been like, oh yeah, I bet I go to sleep at night. You drive off and just go home and stay in your bed and then drive back in the morning. Yeah.
So, actually, when we came to Calicoddy, when we went there, Juliet and we stayed in our van, and Juliet and Ed, their van was not fully set up, and we were looking for like what's the word? Like Travel Lodge Premier and stuff.
Just for Lenny Henry to talk.
Something cheap.
And then it was like cheaper for them, so they just drove an hour and a half.
Oh really?
Yeah. Like,
wow. Drove back in their wetsuits. Slept in their wetsuits.
You know, he's got a 3 4-bedroom apartment. You could have all just stayed in there, and he didn't even invite you.
No, they were invited. They were
of course they were.
And also, if somebody's driven an hour and a half in a wetsuit and been pissing in it whilst driving, I'm not.
You don't want them
I didn't hear pissing in it whilst driving.
I do think we've all done that though when we start surfing. Like you'll be like, it's only half an hour.
Pissing in your wetsuit?
No.
Whilst driving.
No, I mean travelling in your wetsuit, and it's only half an hour drive.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
It's the most uncomfortable thing ever.
Yeah, definitely.
And at Bamburgh, I should probably say, like you do get a lot of tourists here. You get a lot of like politicians that drive here to test their eyesight as well. I believe this is where he came, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep, it is.
Wait, is that a joke about the bad driving around here?
No. That happened during lockdown.
In lockdown, a politician drove here.
He got caught out.
And he said he was testing his eyesight, and he did like a 3 hour round drive
to
or
make sure
whatever
it was safe or something stupid. Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure he could see the castle. He's like, can see it. Right, fine.
Right, well, I totally misunderstood that.
Do you find yourself when you're doing these sort of kids clubs and kids lessons, you go back to trying to teach them maths? You're like, right, Jimmy, so there's 4 surfboards over there. They've taken 2.
Yeah, he stole a couple from you, and not really the sums part, but definitely sometimes I feel myself going into teacher mode.
You've not let that go yet, then?
No.
Do you want to let that go?
No, because I'm a teacher.
Okay.
Still, but just of the surf variety. So I believe the skills are interchangeable.
So there's 4 surfboards. Jimmy's got 2. Where the fuck are my other 2? Tell me where he's found where they
Dog
are.
does not agree with you as the teaching.
Zena's not happy. What's up, Zena? What you got to say? Tell us something.
Come here.
No. Cutie pie. So you guys been on some other trips recently? Where have you guys been?
Well, the most recent one was we went to Barbados, which is
Drive there.
I think it's one of the only ones. If I could, I would. Yeah, but it's became sort of I think almost going to become a regular thing going to Barbados. It's just the easiest place to go.
Tropical. If you want to get somewhere tropical, surf.
It's
in a
board shorts, good waves, and it's an hour to drive around the entire island.
I think actually last time you came on, you'd either been to somewhere like there or Jamaica. It was somewhere.
You were going to Crewe left, weren't you?
No.
Yeah, I have been there.
Yeah, you were going somewhere, and it was just like it was on the other side of the island. I can't remember where it was. I should have done more research.
Maybe New Zealand. I had just been to New Zealand.
No, it wasn't New Zealand. I can't remember.
I think you just came back from Barbados, had you not?
No.
I think you had. I think you had because you were like it was like an hour just to surf different sides of the island. There was always something.
Maybe that was Barbados. That sounds like Barbados.
Well, yeah.
It's such a good place to go because it's got every type of wave. You've got longboard waves, shortboard waves. It's just great, and the food's good and it's warm.
Sounds like a good place for us to go, and we can
definitely.
surf together if there's longboard and shortboard waves.
Much further northeast edition.
Yeah,
we'll keep going. Eventually, it'll be northeast.
Yeah,
that'd be a good place to go. I got the impression for you guys, you've kind of done like the summer in the UK, and then went and done the sort of seasonal stuff, and just moved. You went and chased the sun and the waves, but I'm guessing now that you've got a house and you're doing some adulting, maybe that's
not a chance. No.
Are you going to stick to that?
We're still going to go away.
Okay. So I think we're already planning this year because I think the plans are go around Europe, but leave in December and then come back sort of February, March kind of time.
Nice.
So sort of how we try and do it is sort of 8 months on, 4 months off-ish.
Is it easy to manage that, or is it problematic?
So, if it becomes problematic, I am a teacher.
Oh, yeah,
So I could just do supply a little
Yeah.
bit, which is a good, don't drop out of uni, kids. gives you a good backup.
No, because I was going to say, like, I know Bamburgh's expensive, but bloody hell, how much are you charging for lessons? Because, like, I just looking at it of, like, adulting, of being like, right, you're going to go away for, like, however many months of the year, and what I mean is, I'm taking the piss, but how much does your budget allow you to live normally in the summer months to when it comes to the winter, so you've got enough money to go away? So do you have to, like, because I think people imagine going like, oh, you have the summer and you like work all summer and you like have a great time and party, and then you go away all winter and it's like the same sort of thing. But how tight is that budget in the summer to allow you to be able to do that in the winter time?
Well, to be honest, we don't spend money on really anything but sort of food, surfboards and fuel.
Yeah, you've picked us up at an interesting point where we now have a mortgage, but like we've not rented for the last 5 years. We've been in vans, and stuff like that.
Suddenly
which
got
is
all these additional expenses that.
So, but though that's definitely helped us save to this point, and we've just been trying to be realistic with what we could afford rather than I don't know, going overboard. So we'll see if we have enough money to sustain life now that we actually
Airbnb this place when you go abroad, because it's such a hot spot actually.
One of the things we've been sort of thinking about, sort of trying to sort everything and get everything flown together, but it's as well when we go away we live really cheap in the 4 months that we're away, because we tend to be living in the van, cooking for ourselves, just sleep in the van, so we're not paying for anything. So it's almost the cost of living for us in the van is the same, if not cheaper, than if we're at home. So that 4 months we're away is like actually when we probably spend less.
If we need to, he's handy. He can pick up extra work.
Odds and ends here and there.
Building stuff.
I would just love to make vans and sell
them
to people.
Probably even try and get into selling Christmas trees.
That sounds like a good idea then, actually.
I know a lot of people that do that.
In the summer.
Summer.
It's gap in the market.
Combo, actually. There was a guy in Barbados who's a surf instructor and a Christmas tree seller.
Okay.
So you could look into that.
So I guess because you've been on before, people will have heard maybe your background in surfing, where it started, but there'll be people that listen now because we are so massive who have never heard it. So let's get into how you started and where it came about in surfing.
I started surfing when I was 21.
Oh, okay.
In Australia.
Ancient,
Yeah, I know. I finished uni. And then
was that a dig?
I tried to. I really tried.
It was no digs, no disrespect. But I did finish. And then I just moved to Australia, kind of unplanned. And I used to ride horses, and I had a job doing that, teaching riding stuff, just teaching riding. And I just picked up surfing for something to do when I wasn't working because I was kind of bored. And I just kept going. Thought that it would be. I ended up being there for 2 years, and I actually thought that it would be really hard to surf when I came home, and I was really scared about the cold, and I just thought that I would, never surf anywhere near as much. And then that kind of just drove me to surf more because I was that determined to I was that scared that I would not be able to surf that I ended up surfing more. When I came home. Did you
have a lesson or stuff when you were in Australia, or did you just literally hire a board and just start?
No, I didn't have any lessons.
So you run a surf school, and you should actually say, yes, I had lessons. It's the only way to start.
But with hindsight, what I would have done.
With hindsight, what I would have done is I would have had a lesson with any surf.
How did that? How much, joking aside, how much did that hinder your surfing? Do you think how much harder was it learning yourself than actually going through?
A lot. And I mean, so some people, there's different rates that people pick things up. And we taught one of the girls, a girl came last night for her first ever lesson, and it was in one of our SEN sessions, so it was actually a shorter session, literally 1 hour, and she stood, first time we taught her how to stand up, she stood up literally perfect, how I had just shown her on the beach.
What a prick.
I know.
Yeah, we hate people.
She's a child.
I would have kicked her off then.
What's an SEN lesson? Southeast
North?
School.
No, special education. It stands for special educational needs.
Right.
Oh,
so,
now you.
Now you need to feel bad.
Horrendous.
But yeah, we just do slightly shorter sessions for that one. That was the only reason that I specifically mentioned that. It was in a really short amount of time. It was kind of taking off on green waves. It was just amazing,
awesome.
like how quick. And I'm not saying that, no, what I am saying that would never have happened without a lesson. It would never, you wouldn't have that quick succession. And it did take me, for me, I think way longer than it would have done if I had a lesson. Like I was really shit for 2 years. The whole time I was in Australia. Yeah, I was like surfing.
Shit for 2 years. I've been shit for 20. I'd love to
go
surfing with you two. You'd be like, how the fuck are you still surfing after this long like that?
I wonder about when you started surfing, because you'd probably disagree from being humble. I'm sure Chris would agree. You will send it on fucking anything. On anything, and I definitely don't have that ability. I'll be like, I'm not even paddling out. You are not scared. Maybe you are inside, but you are not scared to go. And you surf so well. And I think some people would say potential snake in the lineup.
Massive snake in the lineup.
I don't know. Don't say that. I've matured.
That is even known down south.
Really?
No.
No, I'm fine.
Did it come really naturally, even in them 2 years? Would you just never have that fear factor?
I wouldn't say it came naturally. I would say that I have 2 left feet, and I'm actually really incompetent at, kind of walking in a straight line, which does make longboarding and stuff hard. So yeah,
just walk straight off the side.
My feet
crab walk.
Well, my feet turn inwards, so it's like the opposite of graceful. Like ballerinas, all delicate, and I'm just like. See, I bash my head on things all the time, and no, I don't think it did come naturally, but I do think that I was just not scared, and quite like gung ho.
Do you ever have any fear in the water?
Yeah.
Fear of not catching waves.
Fear of looking like. No, I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Well, do you know what, you say that? I was literally thinking the same thing. I was about to go into it, because actually what I like about the stuff you post is that, and I think I'm quite similar, but so many surfers that surf well, and I'm clearly not including myself in that bit, will not post like wipeout reels and stupid stuff. Like, you're more than happy to post the stupid shit, which I think everyone should, because that's what everyone wants to see. Yeah, I love that. And you're just going down.
I think that's more real, is what happens as well, isn't it? Like, you don't, like, I don't know, even like surfers, like I'd say like good. I've not seen you surf, Chris, so I can't really say, but I've seen Emily surf. So like, even like good surfers, you're not doing that all the time. There's like 20 times in there where something's gone wrong or something like that.
Generous at just stopping at 20.
Yeah. It's just, and I think it's more real, and people can relate to that and go like, oh yeah, like, fair play, you can do that really amazing thing, but you've shown us the process it's taken to do it. It's like, I can relate it to like watching skateboard films growing up, and like, you see these amazing sections of people doing tricks, and then the ones that showed you afterwards, all the times it took, like, you'd see someone do something amazing, and it's taken like 70 times to do that one thing.
You don't see the repetition.
And I think people appreciate that, seeing that, how much hard work's gone into like just pulling it off once.
Yeah, and I think it depends what you want to get out of surfing as well. Like I don't really want to compete, or it's not. I don't do it for that reason. And I think most people don't. Like most people who surf, it's just such a sick thing to do with your time. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, it's just fun, isn't it?
And I think that culture around surfing sometimes makes it harder for people to learn. Yeah, because they are just, one of the main things we tell people in lessons is, for you to get better, you're going to fall off way more, because everyone thinks they've got to do everything perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's realistically, to be able to do that stuff, you've got to fall off so much more than you actually are able to do the actual thing.
Yeah, and coaching wise, I think there's a lot of good coaching is about high performance coaching, and I just think there's so many different levels of what can be good coaching, and a lot of the, it's cool. We've got some kids who really want to get into that. Then we've also got kids who really want to race car, and kids who are like, I think because we're not pushing everyone to the high performance thing, we've actually got some 8-year-olds who are cross-stepping to the nose on a foamy and stuff like. And just
I was going to say pricks again, but I'm not sure now anymore what I can say or not. Or what? Yeah.
But it's just fun. And if you do weird things and somersaults off your board, you're going to fall off. So
I think it's the nice thing is quite a lot of us, we don't. Some of the kids want surfing to be a sport. Quite a lot of the kids, not kids, just anyone in general, don't want surfing to be a sport. And I think I don't really see it as a sport. It's something I do every day and I want to do it all the time, but I'm not going out to play sport. I'm just doing it because I like it. I just want to splash around and mess on. And I think a lot of the kids which come, and we see a lot of coming, don't want to do sport. Yeah. They want to just have fun. And then, so when the surf's not as good, they'll actually more body surf, just splash around, have fun. Then there's good waves, and then they'll be in the mood and go, oh, actually, today I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's so much nicer than right, you're doing it wrong. You've got to do more like this, more like that. Whereas they just need to enjoy it more than anything.
Totally, yeah. That's passion's the ultimate thing, just enjoying it in the moment. What about your own sort of journey into surfing?
I think I just did the good old, got a board way too small for myself at 14, floundered for 4 years, doing nothing, then went to uni, joined the surf club there, and then it was sort of from there, just kept going, dropped out of uni to surf.
Yeah.
And
was there lessons in with the uni stuff, or was there?
No, so I didn't really have lessons. It was once I started once I started instructing, I went through, and then I somehow fell into a job at a boutique surf camp in Portugal, and had a really good head coach from Cornwall called Tark, and does a lot of wave project down in Cornwall.
Tark, I recognise that name.
Yeah, I recognise that name as well.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you should recognise.
No, just as soon as you said the name, and
he works for Wave Project. Does he work for Wave Project now still?
I think he still does Wave Project stuff. Okay. And basically he just sort of mentored me, and I was getting surf lessons while I was coaching.
Yeah.
So we would do a lot of outback stuff, so they do video analysis. And I'm fine with people ripping into me, basically. So you'd actually rip me in front of our customers. But I was then getting coaching. Yeah. And then from that point, he started just taking me out, coaching me a bit more. And then I found I'd sort of was stuck at the same point for maybe 4 years. Yeah. Then I got coaching, and suddenly I was like, oh, right. The next things started getting unlocked. And I think there's always a point to improve. And I think that's where we're quite lucky now, having each other, is we're always sort of coaching each other a little bit here and a little bit there.
So what you're actually trying to say in a nice way, she's really controlling and you love being ripped into, so it works really
well. He coaches me. He coaches me more than I coach him, but I do coach him too, sometimes.
Yeah. It works, does it? It does work,
yeah. It does work. Tried and tested.
It's also good would you say, is there a similar ability, or is someone better?
I think Chris is technically better, yeah.
I would say it's sort of a mix. I'd say more performance-ier surfing, so slightly smaller boards. I'd say I'm probably
he's way better.
But then when it comes to longboarding, I'd say Emily's probably a lot better than me, and she's a lot more aesthetic and polished in longboarding.
Well, the reason who's going to send it on the biggest wave?
Probably Emily.
It goes in swings and roundabouts. It's been a while, and I feel like I've got a bit more reserved in my sendiness on big waves. And
I think we sort of switch between each other. If someone's a little more scared, then the other one probably is. But we're like, right, well, I've got to look not scared and just go. And we tend to just switch.
Well, the reason I asked that is because I've a few mates that are surfing couples, but The ability level couldn't be further apart, even if one half's a good surfer, but that half might not like big waves. And when they go on surf trips, one half wants to go surf and charge the biggest possible, gnarliest, heavy things that are going to kill you, and the other one clearly doesn't. So it can be super problematic for, like, we know any of us plan a holiday when we're surfing, even if it's with the family. The first thing you do is go, where's the closest beach? Right. But so it sounds like, for you guys, actually,
we're pretty lucky.
Yeah, it does sound pretty fortunate.
We like the similar waves. We like, it's quite nice. We just want to surf whatever's the best wave, and we don't mind if it's a longboard, shortboard wave. So actually, that's one thing on surf trips that never an argument.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen you on a shortboard.
Well, I don't rip. But yeah, no, I do surf a shortboard.
Okay. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I just it has to be the right conditions. Like if I'm gonna struggle on it, then I'd
fair.
May as well struggle on a longboard if you're going to struggle on it.
Yeah,
Do you find it difficult switching between the two, or do you quite comfortable?
I find it really easy switching between like mid-length and longboard.
Yeah.
Which and surfing them differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I don't know, the shortboard, it depends. If I'm somewhere where I don't have to wear a wetsuit, then it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And if I've got like full winter stuff on, it just has to be punchy enough. Otherwise, I don't really want to struggle.
What thickness you going on winter wetsuit?
5.
Is that as thick as you can go?
I could go 6, but I don't have a 6mm at the moment.
I only wear a 6mm.
Do you?
Yeah,
only.
only.
A 6. It just seems super restrictive.
Oh, the new ones are good. So it's with the new suits, I find they last longer because the neoprene's a bit thicker.
Yeah.
And I've just found being in a 6mm, I'd rather be warm, and you're not getting the horrible potato foot as your foot's going numb and you can't stand up. I'd rather be able to feel everything and just be a little more restricted than wear something thinner and be cold with it.
I'm only in 7mm boots, but I've never felt the need to be in more than a 5'4" hoodies.
Yeah, you're 7mm boots because you're in board shorts. That's why. At least my feet are warm.
The stilettos, actually. They come right up.
It's warm up in Cali.
Cali, yeah, that's why it's got its name, obviously. Yeah.
But does the shape of it not warm it up anyway? With it being in that, like, I don't know.
I thought it was warm.
If the shape of it did warm it up, the colour of it would go straight back down. So
I think the colour of it is what warms it up.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad in there when we went.
You've never surfed there.
I went e-foiling there.
E-foiling?
Yeah.
Oh my
is
God,
that surfing?
Is that something that you're
You've
meant
not
to
seen
admit
e-foiling?
to?
Right, honestly.
We'll have to say, explain this. We've explained it to people before, but I said the same thing. Mitch was like, "Oh, we're going e-foiling." I was like, "That's not fucking surfing."
As an episode.
Right.
That's not surfing. He's like, "No, trust me, it's good fun." I was like, "All right then, yeah, whatever." Got on this thing, such good fun. It was like, you got this trigger thing in your hand, you press it, the board lifts up like that, and it comes out of the water. You stand up, and then it feels like you're just going to take off and start flying, but you're above the water, but you can move like you're moving a surfboard.
Right.
And it's hard as anything. We got, I think, the first thing we put out about it was just a minute of us just falling off the thing all the time, and then you've got to swim like 3 miles because it carries on going away from you as you come off of it.
But the thing is, right, maybe I can't talk so much about foils, but e-foils, we as surfers probably all say, "Oh, fucking e-foils, they're always in the lineups, cutting about, it's dangerous." Have you ever actually seen an e-foil in a lineup?
I've seen one in the water.
Yeah,
but
it's not exactly, but not in the lineup. So I think we've all got this picture, and that's exactly what Pete said when I said to him about having e-foil Scotland on, and that is what I had said in my head when somebody asked me to take them out e-foiling with their e-foil, and I realised, how protective are we of our, £700, £1,000, £1,200 surfboards? Let alone if you're on a 13 grand e-foil.
Yeah.
You're going to stay away from everyone, and they teach etiquette of that. Don't go near people. Don't go near lineups. So I think it's a bit of a myth, but I promise you, it is the most amount of fun you ever have. It is so much fun, and it's hard work. It's really hard work.
But all of that was just because I've been in Cali coldy water. Yeah.
So it's not warm.
It's fine. I don't know what you moan about. That was going to bring me on to a question. What's the coldest you reckon you've surfed up here? Like, what's?
I think it's actually, if I think 5 degree water is the coldest I've had. I remember one session where I think it was about -5, going out and it sleeted, and I just remember it was the first time I had sort of ice sort of sticking in my beard as it was coming out. I felt quite
Because
cool.
I think, like I was saying to Mitch, like it's cold, and he was like, "Yeah, it's the wind chill as well. Like the wind that's coming in is just like biting." And I imagine like round here it must get pretty. I've had it in the south when it's been cold, and I've walked back, like done that Saunton beach walk afterwards, where it's like a mile of beach to walk when the tide's gone out. And it's been so cold, I've got back to the van, and my feet my feet. These are hands. My hands are like claws, and I physically couldn't undo my wetsuit or anything until I like moved around and warmed them up a bit.
Down there when it's a crispy 15 degrees in the winter.
It's like when you got to put your key in the car door and like
isn't Devon like the warmest part of the UK as well?
Yeah, it was cold. Yeah,
I think I saw. I don't know if it was last winter, the winter before, but I remember it being 3.5 to 4 in the water round our way.
Really?
Stupid.
To be honest, I don't look at it. I just
it's almost bragging rights. Like something you just want to know.
Mine's colder. Yeah,
it's colder. Like, what does that get? What'd you get from that? Nothing, but it's colder.
It means it's smaller than mine because it's colder. But yeah, I mean, so we asked the questions. I know we're time restricted because you've got a lesson coming up, and
or more importantly, Wi-Fi getting installed.
Where is that Wi-Fi actually?
I thought they would have been here by now.
Shocking.
It's just like banging around mid interview, like, oh, it's working. Best wave, best session, worst wipeouts that you can remember.
Kind of like a fish. I don't remember. I think I said this to you last time. I have a fish memory.
What best wave? I would say probably for me was Super Bowl in Barbados. Probably the best barrel and wave, best barrel I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
So I would happily just go there and surf that wave every day.
You said this last time. If you got one like a session or a time surfing you can remember that was like that was amazing, and like that one you're always trying to remember that day.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
I have.
I think.
But I'm not telling
you. I'm not telling you where.
You don't have to say the spot.
Round here.
Oh yeah.
Like close to here.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say.
Shut.
You didn't say that.
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Or south.
That's
yes, that was the
sand.
Yeah, that's all it was. It was
Not
just
even a
sand. It was sandboarding. Yeah, it definitely wasn't surfing. No surfing.
No, that was amazing though. I'm not going to divulge anymore. But there's been one session where it literally felt like. Have you read Barbarian Days?
No. Yes.
No. Yes. It like I don't know what time frame he's writing in when he first starts surfing, but like when they're kind of discovering spots for the first time that are now like really well known. We surfed this wave and I was literally like, what? Like 2 days of it, and it was just mind blowing.
Can you describe what the wave was like? Or?
Yeah, it was like a point break.
Okay.
Never ending point break. Just
with no
longest waves possible. Could surf it on a longboard, a shortboard, whatever you wanted.
Yeah, it was like shoulder to head high, but like just a minute and a half long.
The most perfect wave, and it was the two of us and our two friends.
Yeah, it was
that
crazy.
Was it. No one.
Crazy.
You didn't get an invite and you're only an hour away.
What about... I'm just going to move straight on. What about your worst wipeout or experience in the surf? The one that springs to mind.
Do you have one?
Ooh, I got stitches in my head. Just belly boarded a wave in, just been surfing and nosedived as I was catching the... don't choose the wire. But nosedived while belly boarding white water in as all my friends were on the beach, and then ended up having to go to A&E in my wetsuit because I couldn't take my hood off. So I just was sat in A&E just with a puddle around my feet, just waiting for someone like, do you want to take your wetsuit off? And then you would, and you'd just be covered in blood.
A combination of blood and tits.
So you're just there and you're just like, like you've got this puddle appearing around your feet, and, you know, everyone's looking. So that was probably the most mortifying one I had.
Degraded.
Yeah, just like, no one wants it. When you're in a A&E and no one's sitting anywhere near you, you are the stinky weird guy.
To be fair, often a place to be where you don't want people sitting near you, or you don't want to be sitting near people.
It's fine.
And I've added a new question of late because I talk about this a lot, and I'm quite enjoying the responses to this. So, let's say we both agree we're both 6 foot tall, right? Exactly 6 foot, pair of us.
Maybe even over.
Maybe even more. Right, and let's say I've just done a bottom turn and I'm right at the bottom of the wave. I'm now trimming along it, but I'm stood super tall. The top of the wave is in line with the top of my 6 foot high head. How big in feet is that wave?
It's head high.
In feet, how big is it?
See,
You can answer individually.
3 to 4.
Okay.
Depends on where it is. Is
Well,
it, is it crumbling or is it?
We're just talking the face of the wave face.
I don't know. It's hard to say how big the surf is by just considering
no,
one
not the
spot
surf,
on one wave.
the wave,
That wave that I'm riding.
So it's bang on head high.
It's bang, yeah.
Probably-
So in feet,
Probably 4 foot.
and I'm 6 feet. He's copied. You're allowed to make your own decision.
No, I was saying.
If you need help, do this on your leg.
I would say. Is it a barreling or a crumbling wave?
It's just a crumbling wave.
Oh, a crumbling wave, then that's 2 foot.
So see, like we have this so much, and I've said to people, like, to me that would be if I'm stood straight up at the bottom of the wave and it's in line with my head, that wave's 6 foot.
I don't know.
That's why we do the body measure. We say knee high, waist
and that's
high,
exactly
chest
what
high,
I do
head.
for that reason, because it just takes away that ambiguity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But do you not think it's such an odd thing that we use a unit of measure which isn't that unit?
Yeah.
It doesn't replicate it.
I don't know. It's weird.
It's
Feet's
pointless.
weird anyway. It's not metric.
It's half it and add 1. That's how I
You're
do it.
a mathematician.
Yeah, it makes
So
no sense.
if you were teaching me, right, 2 plus 2 is 4, it'd be like, no, it's not. It's 3.
Wait, what?
According to surfing.
Okay, yeah.
According to surfing, 2 plus 2 is 3.
Yeah.
Because
I don't
4
know.
doesn't mean 4. 4 means something else now.
4 means 6.
4, yeah.
But then it's like
If 6 was 9.
they measure the back of the wave and all
But
this.
who sees the back of the wave?
I don't know, but
Well, I do immediately when I've wiped out on it, or I've missed it.
I was going to say, it's where I spend most of my time, but I've pulled, so I'm all right.
yeah, I don't know. I don't. It's one of life's
We just
greatest
need
questions.
the reason I'm doing it, I want to conduct this as some market research, and then the whole surf world has to go away with the outcome.
I guess you need to
Seems
know
to
when
be.
you're marketing the Lost Shore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wave height. You
The
know.
thing is, do people want to know the height when they're going to like a wave pool, or more do you want to know
People
what the wave's doing? This is
love
interesting.
talking about the height of the wave that they've surfed. Like,
So why would you not? Why would you want to play it down then? If you want to talk about the size of the wave, why would you want to say, oh, it was 4 foot, but mean it was overhead?
It's like you don't want to tell
because
someone
it's
you rip, and then they go out and see you and you're really average. It's the same kind of thing. You just don't want to say like, oh, it was only a 4 footer, and then everyone's like, ooh, 6 foot. They must surf bigger waves than that.
yeah, and if you want to seem like a real big dog, you want to kind of play it down like, oh yeah, it wasn't very big.
It was. Oh, you should see this wave I got the other day. It was flat. This guy must have been 3 times.
It was
overhead.
below sea level.
He must have been in Nazareth. He must have been surfing.
I suppose that's where that comes from, though. What you just said there, below sea level, is that the fact when the wave comes up, the actual trough, the bottom of the wave, does drop down below sea level.
Yeah, but
So-
it doesn't change the height of the wave.
Yeah, it does, because if you're taking it off sea level
No.
and it pulls down, that's like saying you're 5
Right.
foot tall, right? If you stand in a hole, oh, I'm 4 foot tall, actually.
No, because we're not measuring it from the level of where sea level was. You'd be measuring it from the bottom of the wave. So if you were to measure this cup on this table now and say that's, I don't know, that's 2 inches or whatever,
Yeah.
just because I put it there, let's measure it now, doesn't make it any different in size. It's still the same size. Doesn't
But
matter
it does
where
if you're
is.
measuring it from there.
But I'm measuring it from the bottom of the cup, not from the bottom of the thing that's
He'll
sitting
argue
on.
his own thing with him now, no? Because if you
It's nonsense.
if you move
And
that
also,
down, it's gone.
mean sea level, so when you measure things above mean sea level, which is a common thing in like when we're targeting people and humans in Afghan and stuff like that, right? You take.
Well,
you
this
talk
took a dark
about-
turn. You're going to like this.
So we talk about heights of things from above mean sea level, so the average height of the sea, right? But actually, what is the average height of the sea?
21.
Because you know what? It changes. It changes based on the hemisphere. Because you know you get. This is going.
This
really
just
deep.
got far too
This is going
technical,
really
didn't
deep.
it?
So like on the
Yeah.
equator and where the sun and the moon pull the waves, it actually bulges at one point, meaning it's flatter somewhere
Yeah,
else.
it's flat. It doesn't happen.
So it is actually less. It's less high that's right words. It's less high somewhere where it's been pulled and bulging than it would be in its deeper where it's bulged.
Still wasn't a 6-foot wave.
I love the fact that he goes really technical about stuff and then throws a normal human word in the middle of it, and it just comes like, if that's the right word, like, oh yes, well, if you times this by this and you get this, and then there's a squirrel. Like, what just happened?
Well, that's a great way to end.
Yeah. So if you tell everyone out there where they can find you on the line, on the Instagram, the wherever you are, and if they want a lesson, where to go?
It's just ne.surf.
Well done.
I actually remembered it for our Instagram,
on Instagram.
and nesurf.co.uk for our website. And I'd say that's probably the main places to find us.
Yeah, or in a car park somewhere around Northumberland.
Dogging.
Where did that come from?
There is a dog sound.
I've literally just, the dog is more or less, it was in my mouth earlier, that's why I couldn't say anything.
You want to practice ventriloquist?
Hello.
Hope you enjoyed the show.
Doesn't want to be on. Oh, what are you doing to your pup?
What are you doing to her?
Well,
Right.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Can't believe
Yes.
your Wi-Fi's not turned up.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of the dude or the chick coming in and fitting the Wi-Fi and us just like narrating what they were up to as well. That would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been super interesting.
For them, it wouldn't have.
Nice.
I use your toilet before.
Yeah, of course.
Or can I borrow a wetsuit? You horrible, horrible, horrible bastard, Pete. I mean, do you just hate everyone?
Well, yeah, I do, but that's not the point. It was literally, I genuinely do apologise. Like I said, information I could have done with before I started insulting someone was tell me the fact that like it was a disabled person, and I was like, fuck's sake.
Stand up,
But-
Pete. Here's a shovel.
Oh,
dig
man.
away,
Yeah.
big lad.
Yeah, that's my standard thing to do, isn't it? But yeah, thanks to Emily and Chris for having us to theirs, because I mean that was super fun, and I mean we laughed a lot, and yeah,
we did laugh a lot, and yours wasn't the only faux pas, if we can call it that, because I've said this before on the show about coffee wankers, and like why I've never been a coffee person until COVID, and then before that, I would drink like instant coffee. On the rare occasion I would drink coffee, and since COVID I'm a proper coffee type, but I can't stand the pretentiousness that comes with it. Remember the thing about the AeroPress and give it a gentle agitation. Do you mean stir it? Speak like a regular person. It's stuff like that annoy me. So as soon as we got to their house to record, because they just moved in, obviously I'm now making assumptions. And Emily was like, do you want a coffee? And I was like, in my head, quick math. I was like, it's going to be an instant coffee. So I was like, nah, I won't bother. No, I was like, no, thank you. I made my excuses. I've just had one. And I went in the kitchen like 2 minutes later, and she's there with like this, all singing, all dancing, VX52.
it's like Costa.
Epic machine, steamer, frother, all of that stuff. And I was like, oh, actually. Because I know we're going to talk about this when we do the intro and outro. I might as well film the coffee machine bit. I felt like a right twat. Then I had to explain myself. Bloody coffee wankers.
I'm trying to remember what she said as well about which really made us laugh, which we said we were
I know
use
what it
on one of
was.
the
It was
trailers.
about deep fakes on the internet.
That's it. Yeah, deep fakes.
fakes.
Oh god.
But
Yeah.
it was, man. Honestly, I've got so much time for them too. I've been surfing with the pair of them for years. Bamburgh for a long time was, I guess, a go-to for me, kind of on the way home from North Yorkshire back up to Scotland, and on a Sunday when I was driving back down. And it's such
That's
a
right by
nice...
Scarborough, Bamburgh, isn't it?
It well, on the map it is if you're using your fingers.
Yeah.
No, really cool. I've surfed with them quite a few times. Like even they've actually come up here and surfed here on my doorstep, which is pretty cool as well. They're both absolute chargers. Emily will send it on everything, as I know you spoke about when she was on the show the first time. Just cool people, and her backstory as well. Being a school teacher and stuff, moving away, setting up any surf school. as you called it. I just think it's really cool. I think they're a cool couple. They've got a cool lifestyle, and stoked that they've now got a house.
Yeah, no, I really like. As I say, I've spoken to Emily before, never spoken to Chris, but I really liked both of them, and I got that kind of vibe. You could just go around their house one evening, and you could just hang out and just chat all evening, and it would be one of those ones. Shit, I better go. It's 4:00 in the morning, sort of thing like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when they've been trying to get rid of me since 11, but
3 uses of the living room toilet later. I've told you twice. Come on, Pete.
Told you twice. It's not working. Get out.
So that was mega. That was really good fun. And I guess moving forward, had some surfing at the weekend. Oh yes. And
I saw you had with the most Scottish looking man, which a lot of people actually commented, is that Ed Sheeran?
Ed Sheeran, yeah. Right, so just about to go for session number 2 of the day with somebody who Pete, I think unprofessionally, has referred to as the most Scottish looking person in Scotland, which I don't even think he looks that Scottish. There he is. Ethan is also number 2 in the UK, if not Europe, Red Bull athlete up the mast 2024. That's Ethan.
Been there, done that.
Check him out, Ethan Deere on Instagram. And do you know what? I never picked up on that before, but as soon as the first person said it, of the many people that did, I was like, yeah, fair. That's Ed Sheeran. That's totally Ed Sheeran. Which Ethan wasn't too impressed with. But no, so it wasn't an unexpected swell, but it was more of an unexpected better than you'd expecting, sort of like hoping the wind's
so unexpected then, yeah.
No, sort of like, hoping the wind's going to play ball, but you're 50-50 as to whether it will or won't. So I think it started on Thursday last week, and I had a doorstep session. I was just waiting all day for like work to finish so I could just go get in, and all day I'm like looking out this window, and it was sort of building and building, but it was a mess. And I'd gone down at lunchtime. I was really close to getting in. And even though there was quite defined lines, when I got out the van, I actually got out the van and I had my top off, about to get changed. But when I walked round the back to open the back door, like the wind nearly took the door clean off the van. But it was peeling right, and it was into wind. And I was like, man, I'm so going to eat my board. So I decided against it. Went somewhere else. It wasn't as big. So I came home, got on my bit of work. Went back down at 5 after work. And I do this every time. And where I surf in my home spot, as in on my doorstep, Cali Caldy, it never, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the backdrop of Edinburgh, because you've got the headland and all that in the background.
Yeah.
But it always looks small. And I've said this loads. It's a really heavy spot, right? And I'll look at it, see, even if it's on my doorstep side of town, I'll be like, it's really small. Maybe I'll take a foamy just so I can go have fun. And as soon as I'm in the water, it's like overhead, and you're like, what? And I do it every time. So every time I know that's the case, but you're still there fooled by what you're seeing in front of you. So same thing, paddled out. It was probably shoulder high. And first 2 waves, really fun, man. I've got this, I've got a soft tech board. It's like it's a hard board with a foam deck. In fact, we spoke about this recently, didn't we? You surfed it at the wave once. Man, so much fun. It's become a bit of a go-to. It's a board I didn't realise I needed in my quiver. So I'd gone out on that thinking, because it's a bit of a distance when you get out the back at one of the spots here. I needed to save the arms. Got out, 2 waves, mega, mega fun. Then it just died a death. But I was buzzing to surf on my doorstep. It was freezing. I went out just in my 4 threes I've been doing. It was the wind and the air temperature. The water was fine, but my God, was it cold. Then the Friday, where did we go? Where did I go? Oh, afternoon, went St Andrews, had an afternoon session. It was a big forecast, but big winds again. Had an afternoon session. It was really peaky. It was all over the place. It was massive. Paddled out on my shortboard, buzzing to be back on that. 2 super fun waves, and then it just died on its arse. Got really messy. So Ethan turned up at this point. We went bombed around a few spots. I actually went and looked at a slab, which I've never done before, and came back and it was rubbish. Didn't get in there. Went to West Sands at 5 at night, and I guess similar to Kirkcaldy, like it breaks really far out. This is West Sands St Andrews, but it's like a really shallow sandbar. So it's miles before it even gets deep. Do you know what I mean? So because of that, it peels fucking miles in. Like, it breaks really far out and peels forever. And it was kind of like that. And from the beach, that was when I'd done that wee video, actually, before I got in of Ethan. We sort of looked and we're like, oh, there's definitely sets. I'm sure it'll be okay. It'll be better once we get in. We're walking down like, oh, I don't know. We paddle out. And even though it's like a windy mess, as soon as we get out the back, it's like somebody's flicked a switch. But they hadn't. It's just that perception thing. It was absolute glass. Again, probably shoulder high. But it's quite a rippy spot because of the headland shape. So like quite quickly you're way down the beach by the rocks. You have to get out and do the conveyor belt walk around, which I've not had to do for such a long time. So we've done that. We get out, we're walking up to the like a bit further up to get in. And we're looking back like, what have we been surfing? Like, it's a mess. Paddle out, sure as fuck. It's exactly the same. It's perfect, it's glass, it's super fun. We do it one more time, big walk around, we go miles up the beach this time. Same thing, looking like, what are we surfing? And we go back and it's amazing. We probably surfed an hour and a half into dark, like pitch black. And mate, honestly, it was just super fun, but it was very much boots, hoods and gloves. The sadly up here, definitely not down your way, I'm sure it's still boardies, but up here, winter has properly arrived in the water. And then to finish it off, Saturday, the swell, Saturday was the day anyway. But, oh man, I didn't, because I'd such a good surf on Friday night, I'd planned on waking up for a Donny, but because I'd surfed for so long, like I was like, I'm just going to wake up when I get up. So I had a yawny, went up. Oh mate, honestly, it was just so much fun. It was clean. It wasn't huge. It was maybe chest to shoulder, peelers lefts and rights. Like, I was surfing really well. And then, do you know what? I had to get out of the water. And I've been sort of debating whether I want to speak about this all week. I say all week. It's been 2 days. And it's not stand-up paddleboarders. The principle remains the same. It's just that the person was on a stand-up paddleboard, right? And he's a really good guy, so I'm not going to name him. He's a lovely bloke. There wasn't many of us sat where we were sat, and when he arrived on his sup, he was just, sat super deep, can see waves coming super early, and obviously he's on them super early, and he's also a really good sup-er. And I was ready to get out anyway, and I was like, I just want one more really fun ride on my shortboard. And every single wave, he was just on it, like without giving way to anyone. And it was that thing where, he's caught a wave. By the time he's caught that wave, paddled back out, got himself into whatever position he wants to be in, no one else has even had a chance to look at a wave. And it was the 5 waves in a row I think I went for. And it's not that he didn't have right away. He did, because he's super deep. But of course he's super deep. And I'm just like, read the fucking lineup, And I think the principle doesn't matter what equipment he's on. So this isn't a dig at people on sups. It's just a dig generally at etiquette. Because if you're able to be really deep, just appreciate the fact that there's people inside you that can't be that far out, and you can get on it early. Just fucking read the room.
Me and Leighton had that once at a really busy day in Saunton, and there was a guy on a super long board. It must have been like 400 foot long or something like that. It was ridiculous. It was like massive. It was over 10-foot board, but he was doing the same thing, and he'd get a wave in the set, paddle back out past everyone, so he was super deep, and then just charge through everyone again, and no one else. In the end, people were just dropping in on him because they were getting pissed off with him. And it's that thing of like, you've got the equipment to do that, and you've got the ability to do that. Just because you can do it, it doesn't mean you should do it all the time.
Totally,
just give but at the same time, I understand that thing. If you're surfing, people are missing waves, and you can get those waves all the time. Why not? So there's a bit of and ah about both of those. But 2 questions from everything you just said of your essay that you just read out. Firstly, about your doorstep surf. What is the saying where doing the same thing and expecting different results? Isn't that the definition of insanity or something like that? When you say you look at it every time you think it's small, and you get out there and it's not. Yeah, and you keep taking out the wrong board. Just take your short board next time, because literally you're insane otherwise, because you keep doing it every time. I thought it was really small, but got out there and it's massive every single time. And you are looking at it from your beach view penthouse apartment, so you're looking down on it as well. So it always looks smaller when you're looking down on it.
That's no surprise to me.
Yeah, but why do it?
I understand the principle of why I'm wrong every single time. But every single time,
don't.
I'm looking at it going, it's 3 foot. And then I go in.
Obviously, you don't understand it.
And then I go in, and it turns out it's 3 foot.
Yeah.
Take me on from that.
Which 3 foot? So yeah. Oh, I haven't got my phone on me. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they said about rewording the 3 foot question, which is actually really good. Which I might put this to you, and it was from Sam, who we had on from True North.
Oh, right, yeah.
Surf, yeah. And she said that maybe the question should be, because she put a video on about saying something, it was 3 foot and clean, and I was chatting to her about it, and I said, what 3 foot though? And she said maybe that should be the question. What is 3 foot to you? So what is 3 foot and clean to you? Because that's the difference, isn't it? Because everyone's 3 foot and clean is different. It's not 3 foot.
No, but that's the whole principle. For me to 3
what,
foot
so
should
so
mean
to you
3 feet.
Yeah,
that's what 3 foot should mean.
All right, okay, I know you know that, but what about when you're talking to your mates?
Yeah.
And you go, oh yeah, it's 3 foot and clean. Is that 3 foot? Is that waist height? Is that shoulder height? Is that chest height?
But it depends on the friend group, doesn't it? This is what we speak about a lot, because I know within my different friend groups or surf groups, I know what that person's 3 foot means. Like, so Swanee, for example, is the only person whose 3 foot actually goes the other way. So when he says 3 foot, it actually means it's knee high. But I know if I was talking to, let's say, Alex Mason, the lizard, if he said 3 foot, he's meaning head high. So I know if Sandy Kerr said 3 foot, he means head high.
And if Ben Larg says 3 foot, he means Nazare.
Yeah, totally. So that's why I don't say it. But this is where I think where the question's wrong. So when I see these things pop up on like Stab Magazine and the Inertia and whatever else, and it's what is 3 foot or whatever, like if you say to the person, how big is the face of that wave? That question negates scale. That question negates you being able to use Hawaiian scale and apply these stupidly pointless metrics to this country. Because I'm asking you, how big is the face of that wave? I'm not asking you you can't apply how big the back is when I'm saying how big's the face. Yeah. So how big is the face height? I think it's the question. But it's almost like people just want to argue. And I know those people they hear us go on about this. And they're probably as annoyed as we are at the, but from their perspective. But come on. Yeah. This is why I think the building trade in Hawaii is in disarray, because the amount of people that, do you know what I mean? They're after 3 foot fences being built and they come home and it's bigger than their house.
And secondly, oh, bless you.
We've got one more. Oh, no, I don't. I always sneeze in threes.
Ah, well, one more and it's a week off work. But how's your new van?
Well, I've still got the old van, so actually there's a week and a bit before this comes out, so maybe I don't, but I think I do. So I've not spoke about the new van publicly.
It's not a week and a bit. It's 4 days, 5 days.
It's Monday.
Yeah. It comes out Sunday.
Oh, fuck you. That's the worst. I fucking hate losing a sneeze. I can feel it. It's in there still. No, but because I've not sold the old van, I don't want to make a song and dance about the new one yet. I know Seba, big up Seba, was annoyed that I didn't send him a picture of the new van because he'd heard I'd got a new van, as if I'd been holding out on him. But it was because I'm not talking about it yet. It's only people that have seen it in person are aware of it. But I have done some serious work on it. Bulkhead's out. I'm gutted. Yesterday there's something I've been trying to do, which has been, a simple task that just ends up being like, oh my God.
Write your name.
I need to take the diesel out and I need to strip apart the tiles just to get this central wall out. Like, it was sort of one of them, and it was a central dividing wall. So I've got in the back garage area, there's got like all kicker plate floor, kicker plate sides, and then a central wall between the garage and the main cab. And I wanted that out so I could put the temporary bed in, and got the 2 side walls off and then the roof off. They were a bit problematic, but we got there. And then there's a kicker plate on the back of the garage side of the this wall, and I got it all loose. There's like rivets and all sorts, everything unscrewed. And then there's like there's nothing else holding it in, and I'm like, why won't it separate from the bottom? But it's also over the wheel arch covers, so I don't want to like bend it back, so I don't want to damage the wheel arch covers. So I ended up borrowing an angle grinder from my neighbour. So I cut up the sides and I was able to bring the whole plate down. And I was like, there must be a lip under the floor. And there's like the glue the company's using. My God, have they put this van together well? Like, I mean, really well. Like, everything I've stripped apart has been a nightmare because of how well they've put it together. So I managed to sort of separate as much of the metal as I could, but the bottom won't come off. So I feel like there's a crease along the centre from left to right of the big bit of wood. And mate, it's like 2 inches thick, this wood. Proper timber they've used in a central wall. And I'm like, everything's now loose. I wonder if I just hoof it. So I've got it on time-lapse because I'm time-lapsing the whole thing, like the whole process.
Yeah.
And making tutorials and whatever. So I go inside the van, but in the main bit, and I should have videoed it from that side and gone, "This is Kirkcaldy," and hoofed this wall down, and it just split clean in two, and it was like the most clean fold on the floor. I was like, yes! So I've got the biggest, most annoying job that should have been easy, finally done through brute force.
There you go then. And one final question for you before you go off sneezing for the rest of the evening. Any progress at Lost Shore? What's happening? Do you know when you're opening? What's going on?
We're going to be opening. Probably can't. We've not set a date, so I won't be doing that yet. Water's in.
Yeah.
And so the water. So what happens? The water goes in, then the whole filtration process starts. So for people that don't know Edinburgh, the Union Canal is a massive canal that goes from Edinburgh to Falkirk and beyond. It's massive. And the water in the canal, like, to look at, it's absolutely howling. And I've actually been in it twice. Also, the first ever wave was created in the Union Canal. There's actually a plaque somewhere in, like, 1832 where, like, a barge actually created a wave. It's really cool. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. But so this water, like, it's got like a tree canopy for miles, so it's completely stagnant in sections. You know, it doesn't move. It's canal water. It's brutal.
Yeah.
So as part of the sort of the process and sustainability elements of Lost Shore, and rather than having to have massive infrastructure to take more fresh water away from the grid, we wanted to fill it, or we, as in the team wanted to fill it from the canal, right?
Have you stopped doing it on your own now?
Stopped doing it on my own. Wave Garden's filtration system is insane. I think it's groundbreaking. So we've essentially got pumps and that suck the water from the canal, right? It skims 3 millimeters of water off the canal, which doesn't sound much, but actually when you consider the length of the canal, like it's huge. So it brings it in, but the water comes in still full of like silt and whatever else is in there. Then the filtration process starts. But what's happening while that water's getting filled, because it's now sucking water out of the canal, it starts the canal water moving again. And then eventually, it takes weeks, the water will become, you know, you've seen it, Wave Garden, sort of crystal clear, amazing water. But the water's then classed as potable, as in drinkable. Normally I say potable, I assume people know what that means, but recently I've discovered they don't, and some people have said to me, water's portable? What do you mean it's portable? I was like, well technically it is portable, I can put it in my plants. But potable means drinkable, for those that don't know, without sounding condescending, I'm sorry. But yeah, so you end up with this water that you can drink, and I wouldn't drink it, but I'm just saying it's classed as potable. But then Wave Garden's recommendation is that every 2 years we empty the pool, so it goes back into the canal. So, but it goes back through natural filtration through the water table, so it removes the chlorine element, and it's, I think, if I'm right in saying, it's 1/3 the level of chlorine of a swimming pool. So it's a really small element, but enough obviously to keep it clean. But it removes all of that chlorine, so it goes back into the canal once again, pushes the canal. So for the natural ecosystem, it's really healthy. So that's where it's at just now.
Cool.
So I think last time I was up on site, it wasn't full. It was still pooling water. You can imagine it's a lengthy process. And now the process of filtration and cleansing starts. So really exciting, man.
I was just going to say, imagine anyone that's ever had to fill up a swimming pool in their back garden, or a small, one of the like Argos swimming pools, and you go, do you want the pool up today? And like 6 hours later, it's still running, trying to fill it up. Imagine trying to do a wave garden. I thought there was going to be some guy there still there with a hose for like 3 weeks.
You do as well. You fill up one of them swimming pools in your garden. You're like, I'll do it with hot water, and then because it goes so slow, by the time it's full, it's freezing anyway, and you've just wasted a fortune.
and you've melted your hose. Yeah.
Yeah. So super exciting, mate. Super exciting.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think we've rambled on enough. I think I should also quickly mention the new Cookville clothing that's come out that we've been sent. A bloody fantastic. Another lovely item of clothing from them. And if you want a 10% off at Cookville Clothing, use the discount code UK Surf Show 10 at the checkout, and that will get you 10% off anything you order from them.
And we definitely love these Cookville tops as well, so yeah, definitely get one of them. And if you want 10% off molded earplugs, use the discount code UK Surf Show 24, and that'll get you 10% off at checkout.
Yeah, and I think that's the UK Surf Show 24, isn't it, that one? Or is that not? I always get confused. Anyway, and Surface, 10% off there. That is UK Surf Show 24, and that will get you 10% off at the checkout from Surface as well. So yeah, anything else, or should we go now?
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Chris. And whose carrot is this?
January 4. Session number 4 in January. Definitely smashing Logan. Some cool surf friends up here as well. Oh yes, here he is. This is that carrot, yeah. Right, let's do this. Ready, guys? Woo!